In the last chapter, our protagonist caught a glimpse of his wife, Roswaisa, stepping out of the bathroom in a stunning dress, looking absolutely radiant. Now things are about to get even more unexpected. As Roswaisa walked out, she smiled sweetly at Leon and casually asked, "Where would you like to do it? The living room or the balcony?" Leon froze, his face going redder than a chili pepper, his mind total chaos. "The balcony? No, not good. People might see us." Roswaisa, completely unfazed, sat in front of the mirror, holding a piece of paper. "Then the living room," she said, as calm as ever. "It makes no difference where it is." Leon sighed in relief, thinking he'd dodged a bullet. With the confidence of a man who'd completely misunderstood, he stretched out on the sofa like he was about to watch a game. "All right then, let's get started." Roswaisa blinked, confused. "What are you doing?" Leon froze mid-stretch, looking like a deer caught in headlights. "Wait, weren't you talking about Tat?" Roswaisa, now fully composed, raised an eyebrow and said, "Mr. Cosmode, you seem very excited, but tonight is not the time. Let's save it for another day." Leon shot up so fast he nearly fell off the sofa. "Cough, cough, wait, what is this about 10? With a perfectly straight face, Roswaisa handed him a paper. "These are test questions for the Viviparous Families program at St. Heath Academy. They're about parenting habits and compatibility. We need to prepare, or we might mess up the admission assessment." Leon stared at the paper like it was written in ancient hieroglyphics. "Wait a minute. This is just a couples quiz. What is this, some kind of compatibility game?" Roswaisa gave him a look that could cut glass. He cleared his throat, awkwardly muttering, Okay, what's your favorite color?" "Black," she replied without hesitation. "And yours?" "Silver," Leon answered, trying to sound cool. The room fell into an awkward silence as they stared at each other, expressions tense. It was the kind of stare-off you'd expect before two cats started hissing. Both Leon and Roswaisa, thoroughly embarrassed after their matching answers, quickly looked away from each other. Roswaisa awkwardly muttered, "Just a coincidence," while Leon, just as flustered, echoed, "Yeah, totally, coincidence." Trying to shake off the awkwardness, Roswaisa confidently picked up a feather pen, twirling it with dramatic flair. "Let's test how well we know each other, properly this time," she declared, as if challenging him to a duel. Leon glanced at the stack of question papers and shrugged. "All right, let's do this." For the next 4 to 5 hours, the two of them huddled over the questions, firing answers back and forth like it was the ultimate battle of wits. By the end, Leon leaned back with a smug grin, holding up his paper. "Looks like I scored higher than you. Guess I know the queen better than she knows me." Roswaisa stared at her own paper, her thoughts swirling. He even noticed my little habits, like how I sit and position my tail comfortably. How is he so observant? She crossed her arms, deep in thought. "Well, I've always kept things to myself. It's only natural he'd get some things wrong." But as she continued to steal glances at Leon, a flicker of warmth crossed her mind. Maybe, just maybe, this person is someone I can. Leon suddenly noticed her intense gaze and panicked. Why is she staring at me like that? Is she mad I scored higher? Breaking the tension, he burst into laughter and clapped her on the shoulder. "Ha ha! Don't feel bad, Roswaisa. We just haven't spent enough time together yet. You'll catch up." Roswaisa, caught off guard, blushed and snapped out of her thoughts. Avoiding his eyes, she slammed the papers into his face. "Stop talking nonsense and focus. Write down the correct answers." Leon, still chuckling, pointed at one of the questions. "By the way, you got this one wrong. You said, 'You've never been disappointed in me.'" Roswaisa crossed her arms defensively. "No, I wasn't. I was just disappointed there weren't enough D-Dragon grade dishes last tea time." Leon's jaw dropped. "From now on, I'll eat dragon grade food for every meal. Don't forget it." Roswaisa smirked, her tone teasing. "I'm looking forward to it." The night before the entrance exam, they went over the questions one last time. Leon held up their results with pride. "After a week of hard work, our average score is over 80 points. We've got this in the bag." Roswaisa, utterly exhausted, flopped onto the bed with a relieved sigh. Leon stood gathering the papers. "All right, if there's nothing else, I'll head back." As he turned to leave, Roswaisa grabbed the back of his shirt. "Wait." He turned, puzzled, as she pointed towards the bathroom. "There's a bathtub in there. Go take a bath and come back." Leon blinked in shock. "A bath? In your room?" Roswaisa, her patience wearing thin, started pushing him towards the bathroom. "Just go and wash up when I tell you." "Hurry up!" A few moments later, Leon found himself sitting in the steaming bathtub, shirtless and confused. "Why does she want me to bathe here? Is she planning something weird?" Shaking his head, he tried to relax. "No, she's just been stressed about the exam. Nothing strange." Sinking into the warm water, he sighed blissfully. "No matter what, just enjoy the moment. This feels amazing." As Leon was soaking in the hot water, Enjoying a rare moment of peace, the bathroom door creaked open ever so slowly. His heart skipped a beat as Roswisa stepped inside, wrapped in a towel that barely covered her figure. His eyes widened in sheer shock, and it felt like his soul was about to ascend to the heavens. Roswisa, unfazed by his reaction, gave him a calm yet mischievous look. "I've been feeling a lot of pressure lately," she said, her tone soft but suggestive. Just as she spoke, the dragon mark on her chest began to glow faintly. "And for those of you in the know, you know what that glow means." Leon's face went from relaxed bliss to pure dread in a split second. He thought to himself, "Oh no, what I feared has finally come to pass." Awkwardly scrambling out of the tub, water dripping everywhere, he stammered, "If you're under pressure, why are you putting more pressure on me?" Roswisa smirked, her teasing voice cutting through his panic. "By transferring my pressure to you, I can feel relief, right?" She winked, stepping closer. Leon backed up instinctively, his awkwardness reaching new heights. But before he could think of an escape plan, Roswisa let her towel slip, her confidence radiating. "Besides," she added slyly, "didn't you come here with this mentality just a few days ago?" Leon's eyes darted everywhere except at her, his mind racing. "I can't refuse this. But how did things escalate this fast?" Roswisa leaned in, her gaze locking onto his. Her hands gently but firmly rested on his shoulders, pushing him back into the tub. "You can't run away," she whispered with a playful yet commanding tone. "Just surrender." At that moment, she traced her fingers along his jawline, her dragon mark glowing brighter. Leon, completely cornered, was left with no choice but to accept his fate. What happened next? Well, let's just say even I didn't get to see the full scene in the bathroom. Guess some mysteries are best left untold. The next day, Leon, Roswisa, and their daughter Noah walked toward the grand gates of St. Heath Academy. Leon glanced at the towering structure, nodding to himself. "So, this is St. Heath Academy," he muttered, a mix of awe and mischief in his voice. As they stood side by side, Leon leaned toward Roswisa with a teasing smirk. "What's wrong? Didn't I help you decompress last night? Didn't expect the effects to wear off so soon." Roswisa's face turned red instantly. "Go to hell," she snapped, smacking Leon on the back with enough force to make him stumble. Unfazed, Leon chuckled and gestured toward the academy. All right, let's head inside before you take me out here on the street." At the reception desk, a staff member scanned through their documents, speaking without looking up. "Noah K. Melkve, Shilpa Dragon Clan. Age, 1 year and 3 months. She finally looked up at the small girl and then at Leon and Roswisa, her eyebrows slightly raised. "Is something wrong?" Leon asked, his voice calm but carrying an undertone of authority. The receptionist quickly shook her head, a nervous smile forming. No, it's just, well, the academy usually enrolls young dragons aged 4 to 6. 1-year-old is..." "Impressive?" Roswisa, visibly annoyed, crossed her arms. "Noah is exceptionally smart. Her age is irrelevant. We respect her choices, and you should too." The receptionist nodded hastily. "Of course, please proceed. A staff member will guide Noah to her written test, while the two of you can head to the 4th floor for the home assessment." A short while later, Leon and Roswisa found themselves seated on a plush sofa in a spacious meeting room on the 4th floor. Across from them sat 3 examiners, their expressions unreadable. Roswisa leaned close to Leon, her voice soft but amused. "What do you think? Do they look easy to deal with?" Leon smirked, his tone equally low. "Easy? If this were before you captured me, I'd have taken their heads in 50 rounds. Roswisa gave him a sideways glance, her expression both impressed and slightly exasperated. Leon, grinning to himself, added internally, "If they dare deny Noah's admission, I'll settle it with my sword." The examiners exchanged glances, one of them thinking, "These are some imposing parents." Finally, the elderly examiner sitting at the center cleared his throat and introduced himself. "I am Walter Wilson, the vice principal of St. Heath Academy. I will be overseeing your assessment today. Please, don't be nervous, just relax and answer our questions." Leon and Roswisa exchanged polite smiles, though both their laughs came out a bit forced. "Of course, Vice Principal," Roswisa replied, her tone composed. Leon, however, thought to himself, "This old man doesn't seem simple. Nothing weird better happen here." Walter glanced at the papers in front of him and then asked, "Do you remember when your wedding anniversary was?" Both Leon and Roswisa froze for a moment, their eyes locking. In unison, they thought, "This question, we knew it would come up." Their minds flashed back to a moment in Roswisa's room during their preparation. She had been leaning on the bed in a rather captivating dress, while Leon sat nearby, looking both focused and flustered. "If someone asks about our wedding anniversary, how should we answer?" Roswisa had asked, her tone laced with mild panic. "After all, we haven't officially married, and I was pregnant before we tied the knot. Leon had replied confidently, if I were to pick a day that left a deep impression on me, it would have to be that day. Roswisa had stared at him, her eyes narrowing. It's the year 1733 of the creation calendar, isn't it? May 25th? Exactly, Leon had nodded, a sly grin on his face. Back in the present, both of them smiled warmly at the examiners, speaking in perfect unison. May 25th, Leon thought to himself with a touch of nostalgia. That was the day Roswisa and I truly bonded in the dungeon. The vice-headmaster of St. Heath Academy glanced at the papers in front of him, then looked up with a curious expression. Your child is already over a year old, and you've been married for less than 2 years. That's quite fast progress compared to ordinary families. Leon laughed with excitement, puffing out his chest. What can I say? We fell in love at first sight, had a great relationship, and things just moved quickly. When it's right, it's right. The vice-headmaster raised an eyebrow. In your 2 years of marriage, have you discovered any shortcomings or bad habits in your partner? Leon nodded immediately. Yes. Roswisa, however, shook her head. No. Both of them thought the same thing. The answer should be a mix of truth and lies to sound credible. The vice-headmaster turned to Leon. What's the shortcoming you've noticed? Leon bowed slightly, his voice dropping to a dramatic tone. Sometimes I feel like I don't exist. Then, with a sparkling mix of excitement and love, he added, but my wife is so capable. She handles family affairs and housework with perfection. Honestly, it's awe-inspiring. Roswisa stared at him, dumbfounded. What is he even saying? Leon suddenly turned to her, grabbing her hands with a loving expression. But she easily accumulates stress, and I want to take this opportunity to tell her, I'm here for you. Just rely on me more, okay? Roswisa blinked, her face turning red as memories of the bathroom incident flashed in her mind. Is he seriously bringing that up now? The lady examiner smiled, holding some papers in her hand. Mr. Leon is such a considerate and good husband. Miss Roswisa, what do you find most attractive about him? Roswisa avoided everyone's gaze, her face turning even redder. Well, he's handsome, has a good figure, is focused, serious, smart, responsible, and not too greasy. Leon's eyebrow twitched. Not greasy? What kind of compliment is that? Roswisa continued, her tone softening. He's great with children, doesn't lose his temper, and even though my health isn't as good as it used to be, he makes medicines to help me recover. Leon felt a bead of sweat roll down his face. Are you praising me or giving my life a performance review? Roswisa then tightly held Leon's hand and smiled warmly. So I want to tell him, don't push yourself too much. The examiners fell silent, visibly moved. What a loving couple, they thought. After a series of questions, the vice-headmaster finally asked, as a final question, do either of you have something to ask the other? This is an additional question, and the answer must be truthful. Roswisa waved her hand dismissively. No questions. I already know everything about him. The vice-headmaster turned to Leon. And you, Mr. Leon? Leon looked thoughtful, staring upward. Roswisa shot him a quick glance, thinking, the more you talk, the more mistakes you'll make. End this quickly. Suddenly, Leon looked at her with a sly grin. You like the teddy bear I gave you, right? Roswisa's face turned crimson as she avoided his gaze. Why does he always surprise me with his random thoughts? She mumbled, I like it very much. Leon smiled, clapping his hands. Great, I'm good, Ten. The vice-headmaster stood, shaking Leon's hand. The interview is now complete. The results of the assessment will be sent to Silver Dragon Castle via dragon letter in a few days. Thank you for your cooperation. A few days later, a small red dragon landed on the windowsill of Silver Dragon Castle carrying a letter, when Noah's older sister rushed to the window. Sister, the dragon letter is here. Leon, Roswisa, and the children gathered around the table as Leon opened the letter. The academy symbol was stamped at the top, followed by a few details. Leon read aloud, Enrollment, approved. The family cheered. Roswisa crossed her arms confidently, looking at Noah with pride. Leon smiled warmly at his daughter, and Muin hugged her little sister tightly. My sister is awesome. My parents are awesome too. Roswisa turned to Leon and said softly, Thank you. Leon rubbed his nose with a grin. Thank me? It's all Noah. She's worthy of being my daughter. Roswisa walked away, her arms crossed as she teased, I'll make a big meal to celebrate. And you can come help so people don't think you don't exist in this family. Leon's grin widened as he followed her. Okay, I get it. But you really are petty, always holding a grudge. So that's...
Fast forward to the matriculation ceremony at St. Heath's College. The atmosphere was buzzing with anticipation. Parents and students filled the hall, dressed in their best, while the principal stood on the podium delivering his speech with the gusto of someone announcing the Oscars. Welcome, everyone, to the entrance ceremony of St. Heath's College. We are honored to have such talented students joining us. Among these new faces, we've seen some truly outstanding performances in the entrance assessments. It's clear that harmonious families are the cornerstone of nurturing such excellence. So, we'd like to share some insights from one of our top students and their family. Please join me in welcoming Noah K. Melkovich, the top-ranked student in this year's freshman class, along with her family. Cue the dramatic gasp from Leon, who'd been informed only 30 minutes earlier that Noah had aced the entrance exam, and, to his complete shock, Roswisa had secured first place in the family assessment. The man looked like he was walking to his own wedding, nervous, thrilled, and mildly panicked all at once. How did this even happen? He muttered under his breath as they were directed to the stage. Roswisa gave him a reassuring nudge, which felt more like a shove, while Noah walked ahead with the composure of someone who'd been rehearsing this moment in her dreams. As they stood on the stage, the headmaster addressed Noah, his tone warm and encouraging. "Noah, you're the youngest candidate in this class, yet you achieved the highest score. Truly remarkable. Can you share your thoughts and feelings with us? Perhaps some advice for your peers?" Noah, ever the picture of poise, took a moment before speaking. "My mother is a very powerful dragon. When I grow up, I want to be as powerful as her. When I proposed going to this school, she gave me her full support and affirmation. My sister has always been by my side, and I'm very grateful to her." Leon's heart raced as he silently prayed, "Please mention me. Just a little." Noah paused, looking thoughtful. "Finally, the one I want to thank the most is my father." Leon's knees nearly gave out. "He helped me review for the exam every day and often stayed up late to prepare materials. Because of him, I can stand here today." "Thank you, Dad." She bowed her head, and Leon's eyes turned misty. The audience erupted into applause, and for a moment, Leon felt like he was on top of the world. The headmaster, sensing the emotional peak of the moment, added with a mischievous grin, "It seems Leon is quite the dedicated father. Why don't you give Noah a kiss to show your fatherly love?" Leon froze, his face cycling through an entire color wheel of embarrassment. Shocking Leon. Leon curses internally, his mind running at Mach speed. What the heck is this principal thinking? He fumes. He's teetering on the edge of a public meltdown, desperately hoping this ceremony doesn't turn into a prime-time patricide special. A month ago, Noah had the personal space boundaries of a fortress. The girl wouldn't even let him touch her. Forget hugs, she had invisible no-touch barriers that could rival fortress walls. And now, in front of this massive audience, she's supposed to let him kiss her? The sheer audacity of the situation is giving Leon second-hand embarrassment. Leaning closer, Leon whispers like a man trying to negotiate his way out of a hostage situation, "Noah, don't be embarrassed. Let's just hug and call it a day, okay?" His tone practically screams, "Please don't ruin me here." But Noah, her cheeks as red as dragonfire, shocks him by saying, "Hurry up and finish the kiss." Leon is stunned. His brain hits the brakes so hard it skids. This is the same girl who wouldn't even let him pat her head last month, and now she's telling him to kiss her? Publicly? It's like reality decided to rewrite its own rules. But orders are orders, and Leon isn't about to back down now. So, with the precision of a seasoned actor in a melodrama, Leon leans in and plants a kiss on her forehead. The moment is so picture-perfect that the crowd collectively sighs. Somewhere in the audience, someone probably shed a tear. Meanwhile, Noah is practically vibrating with energy. She suddenly announces, "I want to join my sister too," but before she can bolt like a kid running toward an ice cream truck, the maid grabs her. "Not now, Miss Noah," the maid says, wrestling to keep the excitable girl in check. Roswisa, sitting in the crowd, is watching all this unfold with a smug sense of relief. Thank goodness it wasn't me, she thinks, silently thanking every deity she can name. And then the headmaster, who apparently thrives on chaos, takes the microphone. With a sly grin, he praises the Melkovich family for their exemplary bond. "Excellent dragons never forget to be grateful to their families," he says. And then bam! He drops the bombshell. Since Leon kissed his daughter as a model of a loving couple, how can we forget about his wife? Cue the horror. Leon and Rosweiss freeze mid-breath, their expressions a mix of shock and sheer disbelief. Leon's internal monologue goes full-blown rant mode. This old dragon is seriously overstepping. I should have taken him out during the assessment, he fumes. But as much as he wants to lash out, he knows this is Noah's moment. He's fought monsters, dragons, and who knows what else, but this is a different battlefield. Turning to Rosweiss, he mutters under his breath, "We have to look like the happiest, most harmonious family. No pressure." Rosweiss is not amused. Her nerves are frayed, and her glare could pierce through steel. "Do you really want me to kiss you in front of hundreds of dragons?" She snaps, her voice a whisper but laced with panic. Leon, trying to keep it together, replies firmly, "There's no choice. Noah is watching. We have to cooperate." He steps closer, and as he does, he quietly apologizes to Rosweiss. But Rosweiss? Oh, she's in full panic mode. Her mind is racing. "We've slept together, held hands, but we haven't kissed since 2 years ago. How is he so calm? Am I the only one freaking out here?" As Leon leans in, their faces inches apart, Rosweiss can't take it anymore. Her brain hits the eject button, and she turns away in pure embarrassment. But Leon, ever the tactician, pivots and kisses her on the cheek instead. The crowd, ever the instigators, erupts into chants. Warm-up kiss, warm-up kiss. Leon, looking like he's just survived a near-death experience, steps back and announces, "That's my limit." He turns to Rosweiss and, in the softest tone, asks, "Are you okay?" Rosweiss is fuming. Her face is a mix of anger and disbelief. This guy, use me to relieve stress? If we weren't in front of this crowd, I'd have pinned him to the ground already. She thinks, her teeth grinding so hard they could cut diamonds. The headmaster, completely oblivious to the storm he's caused, beams with pride. "Thank you, Melkovich family, for being a model family who brought us so much joy today," he says, inviting them to rest. After the ceremony, Rosweiss takes the reins. "We're ready to go. We'll pick Noah up next weekend," she says, her tone sharp but composed. She turns to Noah with a rare softness. "Take care of yourself, okay?" Noah hugs her sister tightly. "I'll miss you." "I'll miss you too," Noah replies warmly. Leon, never missing a chance to be the doting dad, chimes in, "And don't forget to eat on time. Not to be picky about food." Leon sternly advises Noah, "Study hard. If you don't understand something, don't hesitate to ask me when you come home during the holidays." He gives her a look that says, "I mean it." But then he drops the bomb. "Most importantly, if you get sick, don't be stubborn. Go to the school doctor." Noah rolls her eyes, trying not to giggle, but Leon's seriousness isn't letting up. Noah assures him, "I know, Dad. I'm not a little kid." Leon, however, has an answer ready. "These rules? Your mother came up with them when she was drunk. She was too embarrassed to tell you herself, so I'm doing it for her." Noah blinks in disbelief. "Wait, Mom drunk?" Leon, completely unfazed, just shrugs. "Hey, I'm just the messenger." Then he gets all fatherly again, his tone shifting to that deep, serious voice that says, "This is important. If you meet classmates with bad personalities, steer clear. But if they try to bully you, fight back. Your dad's got your back." Noah, now really curious, asks, "Did you ever do anything like that when you were in school?" Leon nods, a mischievous glint in his eye. "Oh yeah. I fought plenty." Noah's eyebrows shoot up. "Really? You?" Leon, grinning like he's got a story to tell, says, "Every time I got into a fight, my teacher and your grandfather would take me home and beat me up." Noah, trying to suppress her laugh, says, "That's a bit of a twist." But Leon waves it off, reassuring her, "Don't worry, my words won't get you punished for something like this. You'll be fine." Noah nods, now completely assured. "I'll remember it, Dad." Then we see, at the Silver Dragon Temple, in the Queen's study room, Rosweiss is lost in thought, thinking about the blood curse. It's forbidden magic, can only be used once in a lifetime. Uses blood as a medium, and the caster's life as the price, she murmurs to herself. Then, a sly smile crosses her face. But with some improvements, this could become an interesting little project. Suddenly, a shadow enters the room. Rosweiss doesn't even flinch. The maid, Shirley, enters and is introduced as a trusted member of the Silver Dragon tribe. Rosweiss narrows her eyes, already getting to the point. Why was the investigation delayed? Shirley, ever the professional, apologizes, explaining, there was no trace of Tiger Lawrence or his wife in the Empire. Rosweiss, confused by the word missing, presses, what do you mean by missing? Shirley clarifies, the information was meticulously erased. We can't track their whereabouts. It's like they vanished off the face of the earth. Rosweiss's thoughts race. Leon said his master was just some old man. But now it seems he's anything but ordinary. She shifts into business mode. Make sure their safety isn't compromised. Continue the investigation and notify me immediately if there's any news. Shirley gives a sharp nod. Understood, my lady. As Shirley leaves, the scene shifts to Leon, who's busy training with Muen. He's teaching her how to chop a stick down with precision, showing off his stance. Muen, her eyes sparkling with admiration, watches in awe. Wow, Dad, that was awesome. She tries it herself, swinging at the stick with all the enthusiasm of a child trying to smash a piñata. But instead of the mighty chop she was expecting, she barely makes a dent. Leon stares, utterly confused. Wait, did you miss the stick entirely? Muen laughs, her cheeks turning red. Okay, maybe I need more practice. Just then, Rosweiss and her maid arrive, and Muen's eyes light up like she's seen her favorite superhero. She runs to greet her mother, throwing her arms around her. Leon, always ready for some teasing, smirks and calls out to Rosweiss. So, did the patrol return? Rosweiss, with a grin that could melt stone, hugs Noah back. Did you listen to your father today? Muen, practically bouncing off the walls with excitement, responds, Yes, and I'm super happy. He even taught me how to hold a sword. Rosweiss raises an eyebrow, impressed. Not bad. Dinner will be ready soon. I told the chef to prepare steak. Muen, hearing the word steak, lights up like a Christmas tree. Steak? I love steak. With her excitement through the roof, she runs off with the maid, leaving Rosweiss and Leon alone for a moment. As soon as Muen is out of earshot, Leon, with a wicked grin, points a branch at Rosweiss, trying to startle her. Boo, he teases. Rosweiss doesn't even blink, her voice icy cold. Are you serious? You're going to attack me in the Silver Dragon Temple? Pointing a weapon at me is treason, you know. It's punishable by death. As Leon, still holding the branch, teases Rosweiss, he asks with a grin, So are you really going to refuse to let me use a weapon against you, Queen? His tone drips with sarcasm, but Rosweiss is having none of it. Leon, seeing the sharp look in her eyes, feels his temper flare. Are you seriously threatening me with a crime of treason, punishable by death? Leon, trying to stay cool, just sighs. It's just a branch, Ross. Do you really think the Queen of Dragons sees it as a weapon? But Rosweiss, never one to miss an opportunity for a little jab, grins. Isn't a branch a deadly weapon in the hands of the strongest dragon slayer? Leon groans dramatically, shaking his head. And aren't you the strongest dragon yourself? He then gives her a mischievous look. Or should I call you Mother Dragon from now on? Rosweiss shrugs nonchalantly, feigning disinterest. I didn't praise you, so don't get all cocky. Leon chuckles and shrugs it off. Whatever, I was just trying to scare you, but it's pointless if you're not even afraid. Rosweiss, cool as ever, smirks. You're right. I don't think a small branch could hurt me, not with your current strength. She then leans in slightly, her voice softening. Noah wrote to me yesterday. She said she's doing fine and told us not to worry. Leon's eyes widen, surprised at the short letter. She wrote? And that's all she said? That's it? Rosweiss nods, her expression softening as she recalls the letter. It's rare for her to take the initiative like that, but she wanted us to know she's safe. Leon sighs, rubbing his chin. She's so much like you, Ross. Always so serious, so unreadable. But once someone finds the right approach, she's a joy to be around. Ross Weiss chuckles, adding, Noah admires you greatly. She has that typical dragon mentality, always striving for strength. Leon raises an eyebrow, curious. Oh, what does she think of me? Well, Ross Weiss continues, she sees you as a top student. She's always won first place at the academy, determined not to lose to you. Leon's eyes widen in mock surprise. What? She sees me as just a weak nerd. Ross Weiss grins. She used to hide from you when you first woke up, remember? But she would always visit you when you were in a coma, making excuses to check on you. Leon snorts, amused. So she's just as stubborn as I am. Exactly, Ross Weiss agrees, her eyes glinting with affection. When we were little, we would cry, and no one would comfort us. But whenever we were placed next to you, we'd calm down immediately. Leon blinks, his thoughts going deeper. I guess. Before I even realized it, our blood ties had already connected us, huh? Ross Weiss, with a knowing smile, nods. Yes, perhaps. Even if you didn't understand what family was at the time. Leon pauses, reflecting on her words. It feels strange, you know? I never really had that connection. As an orphan, I never experienced parental love, never understood the concept of family. He falls silent for a moment, his eyes distant as he remembers his past. I was alone until my master and his wife adopted me when I was 5. They weren't my blood relatives, but they treated me like their own son. For the first time, I felt like I had a home. As Leon reflects on the past, a sense of loss washes over him. He remembers those days as a child when he would watch other kids with their parents, and the emptiness that came with not having that. He used to wish that his master and his wife were his real parents. They had given him a sense of family, a feeling of belonging that he had never experienced before. He remembers a conversation with his master's wife, a memory that stands out like it happened yesterday. She had told him, "You will become someone else's father one day." At the time, Leon had asked. She had smiled gently, confirming, "Family members are the ones you want to love, protect, and give everything for." Leon clenches his fist, his heart swelling with emotion. They are my family now, he thinks. They are my most precious family members. Suddenly, Leon is snapped out of his thoughts by Ross Weiss, who teasingly interrupts him. "What are you daydreaming about, Leon? Come on, let's head back." Leon quickly shakes his head, trying to play it off. "Ah, nothing, just..." "Thanks for sharing your thoughts," he stammers, his cheeks slightly flushed. "Let's go." But just as they start to leave, Ross Weiss does something unexpected. She slips her foot out of her shoe, and Leon, completely confused, blinks. "What are you doing?" he asks, genuinely puzzled. Then Ross Weiss glances at Leon with a playful smirk and says, "Since you want to thank me so bad, why don't you start by helping me put on my shoes?" Boom. Mic drop moment. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this epic breakdown, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe to join the squad. I'll catch you legends in the next one. Stay sharp, stay hyped, and remember, a true Murem master never misses the chance to subscribe my channel.